Hi everyone, I'm Bridget Indelicato of the Innisfil Seed Library and Mindful Gardening, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'll be making Quebec-style yellow split pea soup. This recipe is inspired by the documentary film Modified by Aube Giroux. It's the ultimate comfort food with options for both your taste and your budget. Here's what you'll need, and you'll find this information in the description of the video. Okay, we're going to start by turning on our stovetop to medium heat. I'm going to turn it up to about 6. Now I'm using my well-used, well-loved Dutch oven, but you can use any large pot that's suitable for simmering and that has a lid. Okay, so we're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. And while that's heating up, let's cut our onion. I want to finely chop it. Fingers, of course. Check my butter here. It's melting nicely. So give that a little stir. And then we will add those onions. Stir. And you're going to want to cook these until they are sort of translucent, so about 5 minutes will do the trick. And they'll nicely soak up that beautiful butter. Now while those are cooking, we will cut our other member of the allium family, our leek. So leeks are a lovely addition to soup. They're sort of a more mild flavor of onion, but just adds such a richness to so many different types of stews and such. So we're going to cut off the little rooty end. You're going to want to cut off this hard green end, because that won't be tender. I can actually feel it's quite tough there, so I'm going to go even further in until it's soft. There we go. It is quite thick, so I'm going to cut it down the center. That way we have more bite-sized pieces for our spoon. And then I'm just going to cut them thin. Leeks are something you can grow at home. They are a very long season grower. So typically you start them indoors under grow lights in February, plant them out in spring, and then you're harvesting them at the end of the season. So they are a long grower, but well worth it if you enjoy making stews. So just put my knife down there. My little onions are frying, so this will go in there and continue to cook with the other onion. And between each addition, we want to give it a stir. Get that coated in that beautiful butter. And again, you're not putting it on high heat at this time because you want it to just gently cook, not to burn. Okay, so while those are cooking, let's cut our celery. Another must for soups. So we're going to take off the rough ends. And again, we're going to want to keep them bite-sized. So we'll start with the small end and just cut thin pieces. Celery adds such sweetness to stews and soups. Fingers well away as you're cutting. Now as it starts to get thicker, I'm going to actually slice these down the center. Because again, you want bite size on your spoon. There we go. Oh, if only you could smell it in here right now. But if you're cooking along at home, you sure can at this point. These onions are just incredible with the butter. And at this time, I'm also going to add a little bit of salt. And stir again. Okay. While those are cooking, let's prepare our carrots. Now these carrots are from our local organic growers, Cookstown Greens. And as you'll notice, they're a little misshapen, this one's broken. They sell what they call their seconds bags or their soupers, which are perfect for soups. So, you know, even though they don't look perfect, like their perfect siblings, they are just as delicious and nutritious. And these are cheaper by the pound. I think we're so used to seeing perfect produce in our supermarkets that, you know, it's time we start changing the way we think about what our food looks like. Let's give these a cut. I'm leaving the skin on because there is a lot of nutrition in that skin, and these are organic growers, so I know there aren't pesticides on the skins. So I'm just going to cut off that sort of greenish end there, and even that little broken end. These are a little wide, so I'm going to cut it in half because, again, we want to keep bite size on our spoon. So these are yellow carrots. And being local and organic, they are so sweet. Really hard to compare to what you might find in your grocery store. And again, you can grow carrots at home. Again, we're just going to cut that little funny end off. And that little dark end there. Now I'm just going to cut that. Now these are just small enough. I'm going to cut some rounds. I do like little rounds in my soup. Again, carrots, onions, and celery are sort of the trio base for pretty much every wonderful soup. Now this guy's a little thicker, so I'm going to cut him down the end. That way it'll fit nicely on my spoon. See my pot simmering away there. Again, just cut off those ends. And again, similar to that other one, got the smaller end, which is nice for some little rounds. And this one I'm going to cut down the center, just to make it a little smaller. Now this recipe did call for 2 carrots, and as you see I've got 4 because they are kind of small. So 2 large carrots or 4 small work. And again, depends on your taste. If you really love carrots, you can add more carrots. Oh, look at that funny shape there. And again, nice small pieces. We are going to add that to our pot. And again, we're going to stir that. Oh, those smells. Now the carrots are harder and denser, so we're going to give those a few more minutes to soften before we add anything else. All right, these look good. The carrots have softened along with everything else. So now it's time to add our stock. So I'm using chicken stock. You need 8 cups, and 2 of these boxes, the 946 milliliters, work perfectly for that. You can also use vegetable broth or water if you want to keep this vegan. So we're just going to open that up and pour it right in. Now you do have the option with this recipe to include ham or a ham hock. So this would be the time to add it after your stock. But today we are not including ham. But again, it's another option if that's something that you'd like to include. And I'm using an unsalted stock, because again, you can add salt to your taste. There we go. Give that a stir. And at this time, I'm going to add my bay leaf. Now, bay leaf is good to add to your stews. It's something we will remove later. It does enhance the flavor, and I find it also mellows out, especially if there's meat in your stew. It seems to mellow out. And of course, we are adding our yellow split pea. You can use, of course, whole peas. Just make sure that you soak them overnight if you're using whole peas. And again, we're going to stir. And now at this time, we're going to bring the temperature up. So I'm going to put it up to 8. And we're going to wait for that to boil. And once it comes to a boil, we're going to lower it again and let it simmer, put the lid on, and let it cook for about an hour. So while we're waiting for this to boil, let's learn about some of the programs offered by the town of Innisfil to increase food security in our community. I'll turn it over to our health associate, Sarah Corcoran.
My name is Sarah Corcoran. I'm the health associate with the town of Innisfil, and today I'm standing here at the Troy Scott Community Fridge at the Innisfil Recreational Complex. This is one of 3 community fridges in Innisfil. The other 2 are located at the Lakeshore Idea Lab and Library indoors and at the Cookstown Library also indoors. This fridge is accessible 24/7 for anyone to drop off or pick up food. And the fridges at the library are accessible during building hours. We heard through our community needs assessment that economic security, including the ability to access nutritious foods, is a top concern for our residents. Take what you need, leave what you can. So if you're able to drop off food, you're more than welcome to place food directly in the fridge or freezer or pantry. Anybody is welcome to take as much food as they need. In addition to the community fridges, the town offers several health and wellness programs focused on promoting food literacy and food security for our residents. So these programs are held at the Hordinsky Community Kitchen at the Risardo Health and Wellness Center, and they're geared towards all sorts of different populations. So we have some in-person programs such as Cooking Up Community, which is a cooking program for seniors to practice food skills, learn about nutrients that are important to aging, and then also just enjoying the company of others and preparing a meal together. We also run a cooking program for teenagers to gain food skills and learn about the environmental impacts of our food system. This program is called Sustainable Food Champions, and in that program, teenagers can come to the community kitchen and we prepare meals using upcycled ingredients or surplus ingredients from our local food businesses such as farms and grocery stores. And all of the food that we prepare in that program goes into the community fridge for anyone to take. So that's just a way for us to practice food skills and learn about the food system, all while reducing food waste and making food more accessible to our community. We also run a few at-home cooking programs for people who aren't yet comfortable participating in our in-person programs. They can still participate from the comfort and safety of their own home. For example, we have an at-home version of Cooking Up Community called the Seniors Food Box. And in this program, seniors can come to the community kitchen, pick up their food box with all of the pre-portioned ingredients necessary to prepare the meal at home. We have a program called Kids Lunch and Learn Kits, which is geared towards families with children ages 5 to 12. In this program, again, families come to the kitchen to pick up their meal kit, and the kit includes all of the ingredients necessary for the children to prepare their lunches for school. So the recipes are child-friendly, something that a child can follow with minimal supervision, and the kits also include fun food literacy activities like a regrowing your celery activity or a color changing celery experiment for children to have fun while learning about food. Another one of our programs is What's Cooking Innisfil, which is another at-home cooking program with a virtual video component. So in this program, we have residents and community partners like the Innisfil Seed Library prepare a virtual cooking demonstration, which we show on our YouTube channel. Participants in the program can either participate by coming to the community kitchen to pick up a food box with the pre-portioned ingredients, or reaching out to our health and wellness programs to receive the recipe for the program to buy your own ingredients and then follow along with the YouTube video at home.
So our soup has been simmering for about an hour, and I was stirring occasionally. So let's have a look. It's definitely thickened up. So at this time, I'm going to be adding some additional liquid. I'm just going to be adding water. So I think 2 cups of water will do. And before I do that, I'm going to find my bay leaf and remove it at this time. So all of that flavor and all of its work is done. You don't want to eat that, it'll be tough. So we're just gonna remove that and add 2 cups of water. It's amazing how much these split peas will soak up liquid. I'm just going to bring that up slightly back to medium. I was down to 3, so I think I'm going to go up to 5 so that can come up to a boil again. And while we're letting that simmer, we're going to add some greens. So this is a nice addition to make this even more nutritious. So I will be adding some curly kale and some baby spinach. Now you can use any greens that you like. You can include Swiss chard if you like. And the idea is to keep it soft, and this last hour is when you want to add. If we added any sooner, they would just sort of fall apart and get a little too soft. So I'm going to start with my kale. Again, take the hard spines off, because we want to keep this really tender. So I've just got that sort of center spine, which isn't too hard, but I might take that little guy off. And again, just chop it so that they stay nice and small. Kale is very simple to grow. It likes the cool season, so you can get those in the ground as soon as the soil can be worked, and you'll have kale all season long. So I'm just gonna add that to my pot. Also adds a little bit more color to the sort of yellowy orange tones of this. Now I'm using baby spinach, so they're already quite small and delicate, so no need to chop those. I'm just going to put those right in. And you're looking at about 2 cups or so, and they really do diminish once they soften up. And then we're going to give that another stir. See that nice green shock of color, and very nutritious addition to the soup. So now we're going to cover again for another hour and let that simmer. And similar to last time, you're going to want to check it about every 15 minutes or so and give it a stir. And again, if you find it's getting too thick, add more water, about a cup at a time. But this should do it. Let's have a look at our soup. Beautiful. So this has been cooking a total of 2 hours, and I think we are ready. Everything looks nice and soft. So let's turn the stove off. Okay. point, you can add salt and pepper to your taste. And we're going to do a little garnish of fresh chopped parsley. And serve that up with some fresh bread, and you've got a wonderful meal. Enjoy!